or its. In English, we do not start a sentence with the verb to be unless we're asking a question. For example, is the blanket soft? So in that case, we can put is at the beginning. But when we're forming a sentence, the structure is usually subject plus verb, unless it's a question. So if we want to mention this blanket, we can say the blanket is soft or it is soft. So we have to identify the subject first, the blanket or it, and then comes the verb is. And we use is with he, she, or it. For example, it is here, he is here, she is here. And it is the same as its. Its is the contraction. It's just the shorter way of saying it is. And it's very common and very natural to use its instead of it is because we like taking shortcuts. Instead of I am, we'll say I'm. Instead of we are, we'll say we're. Okay, so it's just something we do, but just so you know, it is the same as its. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So as I mentioned before, we have to identify the subject first. So, what's correct here? Is delicious or it's delicious? It's delicious, right? We need to say it first. It is delicious. Is interesting or it's interesting? It's interesting, right? It is interesting. So you cannot start with the verb to be is because you don't know what you're talking about. You need the subject first. It's interesting. It is cold outside or is cold outside? It is cold outside or it's cold outside. Very good. The soup is hot or the soup, it's hot. Think it through, it's a little bit different. The soup is hot because we already have the subject, the soup. So we don't need to say it's again. We don't need to identify the subject twice unless we have a conjunction with a comma. This is a different case. So here, the soup is hot or just it's hot, right? But not the soup, it's hot. Then we're just repeating the subject twice. So let's go ahead and now quiz ourselves. I'm going to give you a few sentences, pause the screen, and we'll go over the sentences we'll go over the answers. All right, we're back now. So it's 5 p.m. or is 5 p.m.? It's 5 p.m. Very good. The movie is funny or the movie it's funny? The movie is funny because the subject was already mentioned. We don't need to say it twice. The book is good or the book it's good? The book is good. The weather is changing or the weather it's changing? The weather is changing. Good job, guys. If you want me to go over it's versus it's with an apostrophe, let me know. I can do that next. See you in the next lesson.